Hi everyone! Today we're diving into the Loveliest Tree bundle, and we're going to make two cards. One is going to be in Granny Apple Green with some pretty paper accents, and then we're going to do a heartfelt sympathy card in Misty Moonlight. And stay to the end because I have a little bonus tip on how to use intricate dies.
Welcome everyone. I'm Nancy Novak. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm excited to share these projects with you. The Loveliest Tree Bundle. Oh, it's perfect for creating simple yet elegant cards for any occasion. It has some great sentiments: congratulations, happy birthday, thank you, and sending heartfelt sympathy. And here are the coordinating dies. So it cuts out the big tree, also has a tree trunk with some pretty leaves, big bunches of leaves, and then individual leaves. So I'm going to show you how to use several of these in today's card. And for the first card, we're going to do it in Granny Apple Green. So the supplies I'm using are, I have a card base of white, I have a layer of Granny Apple Green, I have a layer of white, and inside, again, Granny Apple Green and white. And then I have another layer of Granny Apple Green, another layer of white, and I have a couple of strips of designer series paper. So this is the 6x6 designer series paper in the brights colors, and this is the Granny Apple Green designs. And yeah, it's a 6x6 pieces of paper. I love using that. It's very versatile, easy to use. And then I have a couple of scraps, Granny Apple Green and white. And I'm also going to use the pecan pie stamping blend. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our front white piece and I'm going to run that through the eyelet lace embossing folder. So that's this folder right here. So I'm going to run that through the machine and I will be right back. So it gave it some very pretty texture. Do you have this folder yet? It's very nice. I like it a lot. Okay, let's bring in our scrap and let's do some stamping. So we're going to stamp with the big tree stamp, and we're going to stamp in Granny Apple Green. Okay, so there's our stamped tree, but I wanted the trunk to be brown, so we're going to use the pecan pie. I'm going to use dark pecan pie, and I'm just going to color in the trunk. I'm going to use the skinny tip so I can get up into the branches. So I've seen lots of different ways to color in this stamp set and the trees, but I think this is probably the easiest, so I hope you like this idea. Okay, so that pecan pie covered up that green trunk, so now it looks more like a real tree, right? So I'm going to bring in the die and we're going to cut this out. Be right back. So look how nicely this cut this tree out with all of the little edges around here. Let me put it on a color here so you can see. So it's got all that pretty detail. It really is pretty in person. So let's keep on going and put our card together. Okay, so I'm going to glue our front pieces together, our green and our white layers. Then I'm going to bring in our designer series paper and we're going to lay them on our card just like that. So I'm going to glue those down. So our tree is going to go right there, and I'm going to glue our tree on. Then I'm going to bring this little scrap in and I'm just going to cut a little rectangle. So I'm going to cut about 5/8 of an inch. We'll start off with 1 inch. Okay, so I got a little rectangle there, and I'm going to bring in the exposed brick embossing folder, and I'm going to give this a little texture. I'm going to put it in the little spot. Some of this is words and some of it is just a little bit of texture. And I don't want the words, so I'm just going to put it in the spot where there's texture, and I'll run that through the machine. Okay, so I have that. Then I'm going to bring our scrap back in, and I'm going to bring in one of the leaf dies. There's 3 of them. I'm just going to bring in one right now, and I'm going to cut out a little leaf. So I'm just going to break this away, and when we make our next card, I have a little bonus tip for you on how to use these dies. So make sure you stay for that. It's very helpful. Okay, so I cut out a little leaf there. Bring this piece in, and this is going to go right here, but I'm going to banner the bottom edge of it. So I'm just going to make a cut in the center, and then I'm going to go from corner to the top of that cut to create a little banner. It's going to go right here, and I'm going to shorten it. That's why we started off with about 1 inch. So I'm just going to shorten it a little bit, probably about to 3/4, just a tiny bit more. That's good. And I'm going to glue that right up in that corner. And I'm going to bring our leaf in, and I'm going to glue it up there just to add a little bit of interest. Okay, so let's bring this piece back in, and I'm going to bring in some white ribbon, and I'm going to tie a bow around this bottom strip here. Okay, I'll play with that a little bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the front of the card. This piece here, I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. And we're going to place it right over here on the left. Okay, I'm going to play with my bow a little bit more. Okay, so there's the front of our card. What do you think? So do you like the granny apple green? I think it's very summery. It's very pretty. Okay, so for the inside, I have a strip of that designer series paper. It's about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to put it right here at the bottom. So I'm going to glue that on. I'm going to bring in the granny apple green and stamp happy birthday on the inside. And then I'll glue all this and put it on the inside of the card. And card number 1 is done. So have you tried using granny apple green in your projects? What do you think of this color? So let me know what you think. And let's get on with card number 2. So card number 2 is going to be a sympathy card. And I have a card base of Very Vanilla. And I'm using Misty Moonlight for the layer. And another piece of Very Vanilla. And then 2 more layers of Misty Moonlight and Very Vanilla. And this is a piece of the Countryside Inn designer series paper. So we're going to put that on the front of our card. And then inside I also have Misty Moonlight, Very Vanilla, and a little strip of that pretty paper. So for this card, we are going to use the die cuts. And I'm going to use the tree trunk. So I have a scrap of copper clay. I'm going to cut out a tree trunk. And then I'm also going to bring in another piece of the Countryside Inn designer series paper. And I'm going to use a piece of this bunny paper. And I am going to cut out 2 of the leaves. I'm going to cut out 2 of these. That's a tree topper. I'm going to cut 2 of those out. And I'm going to cut out 3. Got to find my other die. I'm going to cut out 3 of the leaves. Okay. So let me cut that out and I will be right back. Okay, so there is our tree trunk. But before I cut out the tree tops, I want to show you my little trick, my little bonus. So I'm going to cut out a little scrap here for you. So sometimes when you use these little intricate dies, it's hard to release them. So we're going to take a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, this is parchment paper. And we're going to take our little piece that we're going to cut out, our pretty piece of paper. We're going to put the parchment paper on top of that, and then we're going to lay our die on top of the parchment paper, and I'm going to cut that out, and I'll show you how quick and easy it releases. It's just loose right there. It just comes right off. There it is. All the little pieces are out of it and everything. So that's a great little tip for you, using parchment paper with your intricate dies. Also, let me know if there's any card making techniques that you'd like to learn about. Just leave it in the comment there and I will show that to you in one of my new videos coming up. Okay, so we have our tree trunk. We have our little tree base actually. And we have the 2 pieces that we cut out. And then I have 3 little leaves. Before I finish the front, I want to stamp the inside and then you'll see how all this is going to come together. So I'm going to stamp in Misty Moonlight and I'm going to stamp the sentiment, sending heartfelt sympathy. Then I'm going to glue this little strip of designer series paper at the bottom. And then I'm going to glue this whole piece to the Misty Moonlight layer. And then I'm going to put it on the inside of our card. Okay, so there's the inside. And the reason I wanted to do the inside first was so you could see my little idea for putting these trees together on the front of our card. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the tree down. Bring my silicone mat in and blot off some of that extra glue. Okay, so these two pieces right here are going to form a heart when I put them on our card. So I'm going to put glue on the back. Getting all that extra glue off. And then we're just going to go ahead and I made a boo-boo. Okay, so I made a boo-boo. I don't want to glue that on first. So I'm going to turn this over and I cut out another tree. You could glue the tree down, but I want the branches to show. So I want to put the tree on top of the tree branches, or the tops of the tree. So these are all glued. I'm going to go ahead and put them together just like this. So it creates a little heart. Then I'm going to take our tree and I'm going to lay that right on top. I like all those branches showing through, so I forgot to do that. So I'm glad I made the mistake, so you guys will know not to do that, right? It would look pretty either way. But I think since we have all these branches, let's let them show, right? So I'm going to put glue on the back of the leaves. Actually, I got so much glue here, I can just use the glue that's on the silicone mat. And then I'm just going to lay some of these leaves right down here. So now I'm going to glue this to our Misty Moonlight layer. So isn't that cute, the little heart with the sentiment, sending heartfelt sympathy? I thought that was really, really nice. Okay, so for the front of the card, we're going to lay our Misty Moonlight piece down, our embossed piece, and then this pretty designer series paper is going to go right in the middle, just like that. Oops, that was not good. Okay, so I dropped that and got glue on the front of the card, so I'm going to show you another little tip in a second. Okay, so this is a gum eraser. Stampin' Up! Used to sell them, but they don't think they sell them anymore. But you can find it in your little craft shops. And once that glue is dried, wherever it's sticky, this gum eraser works like magic to get rid of that sticky glue. I feel where it's sticky. And the drier it is, the better the gum eraser will work. That's pretty good. Works like magic. Even works on your fingers. You can kind of rub your fingers if your fingers are all sticky. Okay, so we're going to pop this up. So card number 2, sympathy card. It's a cute little heart. So what do you think about Misty Moonlight for a sympathy card? Do you have a certain color cardstock that you think is appropriate for sympathy cards? I think the Misty Moonlight's very, very soothing. Okay, so there are your 2 cards for the week. Pretty Granny Apple Green summary card, and then a very comforting sympathy card, sending heartfelt sympathy. I thought that was so cute, how those 2 little dies created a heart. I think it's perfect for the sentiment. So which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And hang on, because I want to turn the camera around real quick.
So I hope you were inspired by the Loveliest tree bundle and my 2 cards. Remember to visit my blog where I have a free project sheet for you with all of the sizes, supplies, and shopping links. And if you shop with me by July 30th, I will send you Stampin' Up's new mini catalog. I think that's coming out in September with lots of holiday goodies and fall goodies and winter goodies. So I'm excited about that. And don't forget to like, comment, and share my video with your friends. I'll see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.